Hello everyone, my name is Sergey Labetsik and I am a data engineer at WinCreek. And on this presentation, I will show you how we approach to our real-time analytics use case related to the food credit. And we dropped from 30 minutes scheduled DBT job to just 1 minute using Snowflake Dynamic Tables. Let's take a look. So who is WinCreek Hospitality? We are casinos. We have 11 properties scattered within US and Caribbean islands. All of our properties have slot machines and retail purchases. Some of them have hospitality entities like hotel, spa, restaurant, cinema. We have our own grown player loyalty system, which we call PLS. And this one produces about 20,000 events every minute. And our data warehouse is a Snowflake, and we use Snowflake Kafka connector to ingest the data from the Kafka, which produced by PLS to Snowflake using Snowpipe. And our business use case is a daily food credit. One of our core values is belonging and connection. And it's really important to show our guests the engagement, right? And when our guests play at the slot machines or make retail purchases, they earn tier points. These are points which aggregated on the daily basis. And then when they meet threshold of 300 points daily, we issue the food credits. And the guest can redeem this one at any of our unproperty restaurants. And the existing approach was we use DBT scheduled jobs, which run every 30 minutes. The issue here was that guests often left the property before they received their food credit, and obviously they will not return to the property on the same date. So this is where dynamic tables helped us a lot. This is our architecture, basically. On the left side, you can see the player loyalty system, then Apache Kafka. This is how we deliver those events to Snowflake through the Snowpipe. Then we have a graph of dynamic tables. And the very last dynamic table is actually the table with food credits, right? And then we have a stream and open flow to deliver those food credit events through the Kafka again. At this time, we used OpenFlow, as Bang said, right? And Azure Event Hub. And then we have an application team who issues those food credits based on those events from the Kafka. And now end-to-end player activity, from the moment of player activity before they receive the food credit, it's just 1 minute or even less. And previously it was up to 30 minutes with DBT batch jobs. And we had tested those dynamic tables for quite some time. And there are two phases. The first phase was the select-based, we can call common dynamic tables. We had 11 dynamic tables. As you can see on the left side, we have 2 Kafka feeds. Those feeds contribute the tier points events, right? Then we combine them, dedupe, because Kafka promises at least once delivered event, but we can have some duplicates, so we need to dedupe them. And we have some player profile specific events like created, updated, or deleted. We need those to get the snapshot of the player at the moment when food credit issued, right? To enrich the data of this event with player specific fields. Then we have a Snowflake stream on top of the downstream of this final daily tier points dynamic table. And then we use OpenFlow and Azure Event Hub to trigger our application server to issue the food credit itself. And with this first phase approach, we had a graph lock of 40 seconds. So this means when data reach out the Snowflake native landing table and before the server side issues this food credit, usually we have 40 seconds lag. And we have 11 dynamic tables because when you use select dynamic tables, you should be careful about aggregations and window functions, because if you have at least one of them, you can switch from the incremental refresh to the full scan instead, or sometimes even full refresh. So when we slice and dice this logic on different stages, like separate dynamic tables, the pipeline becomes faster. And this is how our phase one looked. And this is the second phase, right? The custom incremental dynamic tables. We have tested them as well, and this one looks much way better than the common select approach. And as you can see, there are just 4 dynamic tables now. We still have the tier points dynamic table, and there is no additional intermediate tables, right? All the logic sits in these PLS tier points events, and this is basically the insert statement, which cares about deduplication and keeps just unique records in our final dynamic table, intermediate one. And we have player analytics tables, which are basically the same player profile events, and the dimension, which actually just slowly change the dimension of type 1. And these daily tier points, 300 events, this is the final dynamic table, which is basically the stream static join from the tier points as a stream joined to the static player dimension table. And then we have a stream, OpenFlow, and Azure Event Hub as well, right? And when we first tried this phase 2 approach with custom incremental tables, the target lag was about 40 seconds as well as on the stage on the phase first here. And we decided to reduce the amount of dynamic tables as Snowflake support team recommended to get rid of the extra compilation hopes. Because when we have more tables, we need more time on compilation and execution. As you can see on the right side, when we have insert and merge control, we have a full control of the materialization. There is no more blinking records due to the update, and we have the stream static join, which allows us to control this better. In our first phase here, you can see this final dynamic table, daily tier points 300 events. When the player profile updated, it contributes to the update of the final dynamic table. So we have the same food credit, but now the player profile is updated. And this noise propagates to the server side, right? And we need to control that this is not the duplication of the food credit. With this stream static approach, we don't need to take care of it. We still do this on the server side, but it's not necessary. And with custom incremental tables, we can check for updates separately. In our case, it just inserts and that's it. And no deletion as well. As you can see now, it's just 4 dynamics tables instead of 11. And this is our before and after. So previously it was 30 minutes in average. Now it's under a minute. We use DBT incremental jobs, which run every 30 minutes. Now we still use DBT, but only for the version control. This is how we keep the versions of our dynamic tables in the same DBT repo. But execution performed under the hood of Snowflake. The pipeline mode was batch, now it's real-time streaming. As you saw, it was just 20 seconds in average when the data hits the landing table in Snowflake and when the food credit issued. And guest risks mitigated. So now guest gets the food credits under a minute when the event triggered. And the maintenance is completely on Snowflake, and we are really happy that we switched from these orchestrated DBT schedules to Snowflake Dynamic Tables. This slide shows you what lessons we learned through this implementation of both phases. The first thing is select mode on Dynamic Tables. If you have aggregations or window functions or unions, please select the intermediate small dynamic tables to perform those actions separately. In this case, you will not face with full scan or any performance issues. You will have more dynamic tables in your graph, but the performance will be better. If you use custom incremental tables, vice versa, you need to reduce the amount of dynamic tables. In this case, you will save some time on the compilation hubs. Regarding performance, our landing table was poorly partitioned for these Kafka events. And after 2 years of collected data in 12 streams, this one was the legacy Snowpipe, by the way. We had really poor partitioning, and technical support recommended us to assign the clustering keys to this landing table, and the amount of micro partitions dropped from 1.2 million to just 37,000 partitions, and compilation time dropped from 20 seconds just to 2. And our main insight is just one extra small warehouse is more than enough for our workflow. And we have a few more use cases, and all of them run on the same extra small warehouse. It's more than enough. One thing worth to note is that there are many ways to implement real-time analytics, but Snowflake simplifies the implementation and maintenance by abstracting much of the underlying complexity and operational overhead. Our next steps, we have online player value project. This is supposed to introduce another use cases similar to food credits. One of them is a VIP guest arrival alerts. So now when we have the player profiles and we can track those card swipes, any terminals on facility, would it be the slot machines or POS terminals like point of sales, we can come to the guest and have a warm, personalized welcome at the moment they appear at the property. And one of the next steps, we would like to use OpenFlow even for the data ingress. As of now, it just is being said it is a Snowflake Kafka connector. And we would like to introduce the OpenFlow to ingest the data and lend this to Snowflake native table as well. We started with a loyalty problem. The pipeline was running every 30 minutes, and we have rebuilt this one with dynamic tables, which taking just 1 minute or less currently. And the end-to-end delivery meant we had happier customers and bigger business impact. And thanks for watching to the end. I hope you enjoyed this video. Check out the links in the video description and make sure to subscribe and follow the Snowflake developers channels for more videos like this. Thank you, everyone.